Howdy folks, we're back again. This time we're going to take a look at identity management with FreeIPA. Now, centralized user management is a huge boon to system administrators. Without it, the administrators would have to go to each and every computer in the network to create user accounts, to set proper privileges, to set proper permissions, to set proper group membership, and all that. And that's just going to be a lot of work, especially with hundreds or thousands of machines in the network. And in addition to all that, you want to have a way so that the users can be able to access their files from any machine in the network. So we can also combine the identity management with network file system in order to provide that centralized file storage. Now, Windows Server currently has the most popular central user management system. It started with Windows NT, which allowed administrators to create Windows NT domains. And then Active Directory was introduced with Windows 2000 Server. And Active Directory has traditionally been the most feature-rich and simplest to use user management system. Active Directory does have good security features, such as built-in Kerberos authentication. But in the Unix and Linux world, the options have not always been so good. We had Network Information Services, or NIS, which is fairly easy to set up, but there's almost no security to it. And then, in order to improve the security situation, NIS Plus was introduced, but it just never caught on, and now it's mostly forgotten. I'm not even sure how many people even know it even existed. And then there's the Lightweight Directory Access Protocol, or LDAP. It can be quite secure if set up correctly, but it has a steep learning curve, and adding new users requires editing what we call LDIF files, which can be quite tedious. But with the introduction of FreeIPA, that situation has improved significantly for users of Red Hat Enterprise and CentOS operating systems. IPA stands for Identity Policy Auditing, but the auditing portion has not yet been implemented. For now, you'll need to use other auditing mechanisms. The long-term goal is to integrate these external auditing mechanisms into FreeIPA. But the good news is that's not really a big deal right now because the other auditing mechanisms are actually fairly easy to use. FreeIPA started as a Fedora project and has been in testing for several years. Beginning with Red Hat Enterprise 7 and CentOS 7, FreeIPA is now available for production use. Curiously though, and I don't understand why they did this, but the official Red Hat Enterprise documentation always refers to it as identity management. They never refer to it as FreeIPA, although if you dig deep enough in the documentation, you'll find a passing reference or two about the fact that it was based upon the FreeIPA project. Here we are at the FreeIPA website, which tells you all about FreeIPA. We have documentation, and if you scroll on down here, you'll see all kinds of good stuff. And you will see some presentations down at the bottom here. And you'll also see that they don't really maintain their own official documentation anymore, so you'll need to click on one of these links to go to the Red Hat Enterprise customer portal. And here we have the Identity Management Manual. And over here we have the manual for the Windows Integration Guide for being able to integrate FreeIPA with Active Directory. One of the interesting things about FreeIPA is that it does not involve the creation of brand new technologies. All the FreeIPA team did was to take existing free open source technologies and then just basically glue them together into an easy-to-use package. So we have LDAP, which will house the Identity Management Database. We'll have Kerberos for secure authentication. We have the dog tag certificate of authority for managing security certificates, domain name services for managing your machines and your virtual machines, and the network time protocol to keep time in sync for proper operation of Kerberos. And so all of these things individually are going to be extremely tedious and time-consuming to have to set up. But with the FreeIPA, it's made very, very easy. And this is pretty much the same thing that Microsoft did with Active Directory. They took these different technologies and glued them together. So with FreeIPA, you're going to create a Linux domain that's going to be somewhat similar to an Active Directory domain in Windows, beginning with Red Hat Enterprise 7.1 and CentOS 7.1. You can create cross-domain trust between a FreeIPA Linux domain and a Windows Active Directory domain. You can make these trusts either two-way or one-way, whichever way you want. And then in addition to normal user management, FreeIPA allows you to manage administrators by creating centralized sudo policies. And now for the bonus. Oh, you will not believe how easy it is to install and configure FreeIPA. And as it happens, that's going to be the subject of the next video. So we'll see you back then. Thank you for watching.